The Red Sox couldn't get the job done last night. What does that mean for their playoff hopes? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and yeah, the Red Sox playoff hopes have been pushed back yet another day because they lost big last night, right? And there was a lot that went wrong in this game. I mean, Justin Wilson, I'm sure he's a good guy. He's having a terrible September, and he threw a pitch that, to be honest with you, I don't think I could have walked over and placed into a catcher's mitt worse than Justin Wilson threw, right? He just threw in the perfect spot for a left-handed power hitter to just absolutely mash that baseball, and that grand slam was really the most deflating moment of this game. But the Red Sox offense, in my opinion, is really the root cause of this, right? They forced this Red Sox pitching staff to have to be 100% perfect. This offense went 6 innings of perfect gamed baseball. I don't even know if that's a verb, right? And the Blue Jays had a bullpen game going on, right? If there was one game where your offense was supposed to shine, it was supposed to be last night, and instead they did the total opposite of that and looked absolutely miserable. And speaking of pitching having to be 100% perfect, Brayan Bello absolutely was not. He ended up going 5 innings where you allowed 2 earned runs, 3 total runs, all on that Varsho grand slam. The reason Justin Wilson was in the game is because Brayan Bello had loaded the bases with 0 outs. He walked 3 batters, hit 2 batters, and just struck out 3. It's not the worst stat line we've seen, especially in September from Bello, but it's also not that sort of Brayan Bello we've been seeing this entire year. Really kind of concerns me about Bello right now. He continues to just simply be kind of bad in September, and that's not a good thing heading into what Red Sox fans are hoping is their first postseason run in 4 years, right? You need Bello to be that guy. He has to be your number 2 pitcher, or you're not even going to make it out of the wild card round. So hopefully, a nice extended break before he pitches next, it does Bello some good. He did, in all fairness, look a little bit better than he's looked lately. Still not great, though. On top of that, you've got Trevor Story making another throwing error. This dude has 6 errors in his last 7 games. 5 of them have been throwing errors. We got to find a way to clean that up, right? We just simply can't be having our shortstop be a guy who you cringe at every time he gets a ball hit to him. Trevor Story mentioned that, hey, the season's long, it wears on the body, and in all fairness to him, he's not totally wrong, right? He's played 155 games this year. He's going to most likely hit the most games he's ever played in his career at 32 years old, coming off of 3 seasons where he played less than 100 games? I'm sure there's some fatigue going on, but it just simply can't be an excuse. You need Trevor Story to be a defensive guy. You need him. You need him to do that if you want to get into the postseason. So that is unfortunate, but enough complaining out of me. Because at the end of the day, the Boston Red Sox still took 2 out of 3 from the Toronto Blue Jays and finished their last road trip of the year going 4-2. Now, last night sucked, but if you take a look at the bigger picture here, we as Red Sox fans coming into that Tampa Bay series were like, for the love of God, just find a way to split it. Right? You're probably not going to win your series against the Blue Jays with how you were playing coming into Tampa. You needed to find a way to beat Tampa, right? All you had to do was go 3-3 and we would have been a little bit happy. To go 4-2 and be 2 wins above 500 on this, I think is an absolute win for the Boston Red Sox. They put themselves in a really good position. They helped themselves get this magic number the Red Sox are dealing with much lower than it was going into it. So I think ultimately this road trip was an absolute success despite how the Red Sox lost yesterday. But obviously every single win and loss right now is going to have some sort of impact on the postseason picture. So what did last night's loss do to them, and what does it mean going forward? But before we talk about that, a quick word from today's sponsor. The weather is getting colder, the leaves are starting to change here, and for baseball fans, that means stressful games are coming, right? But for sports fans in general, it's a fantastic time of year. The football season is back, and the next great touchdown is coming. Now you can bet on it. That's why for the entire month of September, we are partnering with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now on DraftKings, new users bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets on top of getting $200 off YouTube and YouTube TV's Sunday NFL ticket. That is one heck of an offer, and to take advantage of this offer, go head over to DraftKings.com/RedSeat or use code REDSEAT to sign up today. With their user-friendly app, you can take your Sundays to the next level. Thank you very much to DraftKings for sponsoring this episode. Please don't forget to gamble responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Let's get back to the video. So last night's loss to the Toronto Blue Jays does three things for the Boston Red Sox. We're kind of going to start negatively and work our way towards the positives here. The first thing that it does is it officially mathematically eliminates the Boston Red Sox from winning either the division or the top wildcard spot. That absolutely sucks, but it's not totally unexpected, right? If you've been watching this channel for the last couple of days where we've really been focusing on each day talking about the playoff picture, which by the way, if you guys like that, let me know in the comments down below. I'm not really sure. I've never had to cover a playoff race before. Over the last couple of days, we've talked about this. In order for the Red Sox to have any shot at the division, for having any shot at the wild card race, they would have had to go absolutely perfect through the entirety of the Jays series and the entirety of the Tigers series coming up. On top of that, but the Blue Jays would have had to lose every game but one going forward, and the Yankees also would have had to lose every game but one going forward. And that was either for the wild card spot or the division. So while you're sitting here and you're saying, oh man, like this Red Sox team, a month ago we were talking about potentially them taking over the division and having that number one wild card spot too. Yeah, it's just simply not possible, and that sucks. It's not a total surprise, and to be honest with you, I don't think a lot of people were expecting the Red Sox at this point in the season to be a team fighting for that top wild card spot, right? I think everyone's sort of mentality has shifted towards they just need to get in. Now, the second thing that this does for the Boston Red Sox is it's going to once again increase the intensity of this Tigers series, right? We've been talking about how intense this Tigers series is going to be for the Red Sox for the last couple of days, especially with how the Tigers started off this Guardians series. Last night, while the Red Sox lost, the Tigers won. That now ties them with the Guardians for the top of the division in the Central and creates a bit more of a complicated situation here for the Red Sox headed into their final series. Because the Cleveland Guardians still have the tiebreaker against the Detroit Tigers, they're still the lead in the division, but it's virtually tied right now. So coming into this last series, the Detroit Tigers are going to be fighting for their division. However, if we're just looking at the Red Sox and what this means for them, the Red Sox came into last night with a 2-game lead over the Detroit Tigers, which meant coming into the final series, all they had to do was win one singular game, and it would have forced the Red Sox into that second wild card spot. Unfortunately, things have changed a little bit. Now the Detroit Tigers are 1 game behind them in the standings, which means if the Red Sox were to lose this series, they would end up as the third wild card spot. Now, to be honest with you, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it, and yes, it would be nice for the Red Sox just simply pedigree-wise to have the second wild card spot. A little of, hey, we were able to fend everybody off. Hey, we were able to, the leaders in the division for the last 6 months are the red-hot Cleveland Guardians. We were able to fend off those guys and hold on to the second spot. But at the end of the day, I think as Red Sox fans, we're all sitting here saying the same thing. Brother, I do not care where and how the Red Sox get into the postseason. I care that they get into the postseason, right? And the difference between whether the Red Sox are the second or third wild card spots really doesn't mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, right? You've already lost the ability to play at home in a wild card series, so that's off the table. The really only difference here is, would you rather play the division winner of the AL Central, or would you rather play the Blue Jays or Yankees first round of the postseason? Now, personally, while the in-division stuff would be unbelievably fun, I think, right? Just watching the Red Sox take on either the top dog in the AL East or take it on your biggest rival or whatever that ends up looking like. But if we're talking mathematically, what's the best way for the Red Sox to move on from the wild card rounds? I mean, statistically, you're talking about either the Detroit Tigers, who have fumbled the bag the entirety of the month, or the Cleveland Guardians, who are the hottest team in baseball for sure. But on paper, nothing really matters if you're hot or not coming into a postseason, right? What matters is what you do in the postseason. Right now, if you're looking just strictly roster-wise, I think you take playing the Cleveland Guardians over the Blue Jays and the New York Yankees. And I know I'm moving the goalposts a little bit, but at this point, it's just simply about getting in. Now, let's get back to this actual series itself, because it's not going to be something that the Detroit Tigers have taken lightly. For them to win this division, the Tigers are going to have to win 2 out of 3 games against the Boston Red Sox, and the Cleveland Guardians are going to have to lose 2 out of 3 games to the Texas Rangers, which means for the Red Sox, you're going to be getting the best of the best from the Detroit Tigers. Yes, they've been kind of bad recently, but they still have some excellent pitching, and if it comes down to it, you're probably going to see Tariq Skubal at some point here, right? Because if the Detroit Tigers can secure themselves a spot in this division, they could absolutely use Skubal and still put him in the first game of a division series on regular rest, right? And that scares me a little bit. The Red Sox essentially have to go in here and they have to win one of these first two games because Skubal is currently lined up for Sunday. If they get into Sunday and the Detroit Tigers have taken the first two games of the series, you're essentially sitting there having to rely on other teams losing. And that's just simply not something the Red Sox should be relying on, right? We've talked about this last two games. Everything right now should be in your own hands. You should take your own destiny and create it yourself, as opposed to having rely on other teams doing this. Now, again, for the Red Sox, the only way that they are going to secure this second wild card spot is to win 2 of the 3 of these games. But to be honest with you, again, the focus isn't so much on where the Red Sox are going to be seeding-wise just yet. It's can they get in, right? For the love of God, get into the postseason. For that, we got to talk about another effect. So if we're just talking about Red Sox get into the postseason, what is it going to take? Well, the Astros won last night and the Red Sox lost last night. That officially puts the Houston Astros 2 games behind the Boston Red Sox with 3 games left to play. Now, if you're doing the math correctly, that doesn't really change anything. Right, the magic number for the Red Sox is still 1. Either the Red Sox win one of these next 3 games, or the Houston Astros lose one of these next 3 games, and the Red Sox are guaranteed a postseason spot, which is fantastic, right? Because again, we're talking about, hey, how do you put your destiny in your own hands? This is how you do it, right? All you need to do is win one of these 3 games. It's a very, very simple equation. That doesn't mean it's very simple to execute, but it is a very simple equation, and it doesn't change, which is the best news here, right? The only thing we are worrying about is the Red Sox being able to win one of these games. And again, it's not going to come easy. Not only are the Detroit Tigers playing for this division and going to be throwing their big guns as much as humanly possible, but also the Red Sox are going to be relying on 2 rookies to get this job done, at least for the first 2 games. You've got Kyle Harrison, who has pitched 1 singular start for the Boston Red Sox in his entire time here. Don't get me wrong, he looked really good in that 1 start, but he has 1 singular start for this Red Sox team. And then you're going with Conley Early, which means you're relying on either a guy who's had 1 start with the Boston Red Sox or 3 starts in Major League Baseball in general. And on top of that, if you haven't noticed, both of those guys are lefties, and the Detroit Tigers have the second best WRC plus against lefties in the entire sport this season, sitting at 115. That's 15% above league average. So not only are the Tigers playing with fire, not only are the Red Sox relying on rookies, but the Tigers statistically are very, very good against left-handed pitching. So it's not going to be easy. Right? It's not going to be as simple as, okay, just walk in here and win a game. But it's also as simple as that, right? I don't think we should be sitting here panicking, stressing. Absolutely. I'm sweating making this video. That's how stressed I am, right? I haven't gotten any sleep in the last week. That's how stressed I am. But panicking, I don't think so. Right, I believe in this Red Sox team to be able to win 1 singular one of these games in this series, right? Just simply don't get swept, and you're in the postseason. Plus, on top of that, I keep thinking about how cool it would be for the Red Sox to clinch their first playoff berth in 4 years at Fenway Park. I mean, tonight would be the perfect night, wouldn't it? It's Fenway Fridays. Fenway's going to be rocking. It's going to feel like a legitimate playoff scene in there. You're in the Fenway Greens that had so many incredible moments this season, so many incredible walk-offs, so many incredible performances from this team in those green jerseys, right? It feels like it would be fitting for the Red Sox to come into this game tonight and finish out this season by getting into the postseason. But regardless, it doesn't matter if you win in green, doesn't matter if you win in yellow, doesn't matter if you win in white. All you got to do is win one of these games. And we're still sitting here and we're saying that the destiny is all in the Red Sox hands, right? And at the end of the day, to me, that's what matters the most. Your situation hasn't changed enough where you're sitting there saying, we have to rely on other teams to lose to get into this postseason spot. You're still relying on yourself. Now, obviously, it would be helpful if the Astros lost, but ultimately, if the Red Sox want to control their own destiny, they have to win one of these 3 games. I know I'm repeating myself quite a bit in this video, but I'm stressed out. What do you want me to do? So let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think? What do you think about the current situation for the Red Sox? How comfortable are you feeling for them to try and get into this postseason? And what did last night's loss mean to you? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Just simply helps this video out a ton. And it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.